Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Steven. How are you?
I'm good. How's the weather in DC?
DC weather. It rained a lot over the weekend, mostly on Saturday, and
Okay.
then half of Sunday. But we still made it out. We actually, I don't know if this makes news down or where you guys are, but our pandas are leaving our zoo, the National Zoo. We've
Uh,
had pandas since like the 70s, so they
yeah.
had a whole Panda Palooza event,
Oh,
and
they get rid of all of them altogether?
yeah, the lease is over and they're going back to China. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, all of our pandas are leaving us. So, yeah, they're doing it in December. They'll leave in December.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to a little event the zoo's doing, kind of see the pandas and they do some special things and stuff like that. So, even
Yeah,
though
when
it
I was a
rained, we made the
kid,
most of it.
when I was a kid, it was all about the pandas. We used to go to the
Yeah,
zoo. All about the
it's
pandas.
I mean, the whole exhibit's built around them, so I don't know what they're gonna
Yeah.
do or if they're gonna find some kind of black bears and paint some white paint on them and just kind of
Right.
pass them off. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, yeah. So that was a big activity for this weekend.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Well, it was beautiful here, but I was in the bed sick, so I didn't get to enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Sorry to hear. And I do want to pause for a second. So I've gotten some feedback, mainly from my mom, saying that every week you ask how I'm doing, and every week I don't ask how you or Chike is doing. I want to pause. You told me you were sick over the weekend, but
Yeah.
Chike, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I told Stephen earlier I'm blessed and highly favored. And thank you,
Yeah.
Mom El Chahoni,
Yes.
for considering us. Thank you.
I'm glad the rudeness didn't come from you, Mom.
Well, you haven't met my mom.
Right. Well, listen, I'll let y'all take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I saw A Haunting in Venice, and this is a movie I was talking about for a little while, but this is the latest Hercule Poirot movie, basically the Agatha Christie main character from Murder on the Orient Express and all of her murder mysteries. And this movie is actually based on a short story of hers and was never made into film. So this is our first time seeing it. But the movie stars Kenneth Branagh, and he actually directed the film, but he stars as the as the main character, Hercule Poirot. And we have Tina Fey, Michelle Yeoh, and a few other characters in there. But essentially, the story is Perot is kind of retired. He's stopped taking cases and he's just kind of enjoying life in Venice in 19, I think 47. And he meets a writer friend of his who says, "You have to come to the seance. I think this person is the real deal and I want you to kind of disprove her." So they end up at this old house that's in disrepair in Venice and they decide to watch the seance. And as things go along, someone gets murdered. And at this time, a heavy storm happens too. So they're all kind of locked in this house in Venice with a murderer, and spooky things start happening as well. This one it happens on Halloween, so they kind of lean into that vibe. But um, overall, it's fun. I liked it. If you're into the murder mysteries, I mean, this is, again, it's not Agatha Christie's best work, but it's a fun watch. There's a lot of kind of twists and turns, and you get to kind of help solve the mystery along with the detective and anyone else that's left in the building. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, I like murder mysteries. Glass Onion, Knives Out are two of my favorites. So this one kind of fits in line. You're not getting anything new or anything extraordinary, but I think the actors do a good job of kind of keeping that mystery. And there's a few spooky, like jump out moments as well. So yeah, I would recommend it.
Nice. Is that the only thing you saw?
Yeah, that's the only thing I got a chance to see. So yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Okay. I actually saw two things. The first is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Dar Salim, and Anthony Starr. You know Anthony Starr from The Boys, and of course, everybody knows Jake Gyllenhaal. Um, I watched it because I have not watched a Guy Ritchie film that I did not like. Every film that he puts out, I always love, actually, not just like, I love his movies. And so I was curious to see how he would tackle a wartime or dealing with military uh, subject matter. And the story is about basically it's a soldier. He's basically overseas in Afghanistan, and he needs an interpreter in order for them to find um, certain members of the Taliban and disband them and to stop them from creating weapons of mass destruction. And so the interpreter has a shady past within Afghanistan. That's what makes him so valuable. And he knows the lay of the land, and he knows some of the Taliban members. And pretty much the Taliban is very aggressive, and they're on the hunt for American soldiers. And they've been doing insurgent attacks all around the country. And so he needs the interpreter in order for him to get deeper into the country to stop them from creating the weapons that they're creating. And so there's a situation that happens, and basically it's him and the interpreter, and the interpreter basically saves his life. They made a deal with the interpreter that he would get his visa and a passport to come to America. And of course, America welches on the deal. And so Jake Gyllenhaal's character feels like he needs to make it right. Nothing but action. I'm not going to say nothing but action. There's a lot of drama in there, but there's great amount of action because it's a Guy Ritchie film. Come on.
Yep.
And it's superb. Like there's moments where I was just like sitting straight up, like on the edge with high anxiety because of the action and the tension that's in this film. If you like guns and explosions and battling and fighting, this is the movie for you. Definitely check it out. And at the end, I'll tell you the end. No, not the end. I'll jump to the credits. When the credits were rolling, they were showing different pictures of different soldiers with their interpreters in real life. And I think what I got from the end that this movie was a love letter to the interpreters for our armed forces. Definitely check it out. It was worth watching.
Yeah, I was on my list, and I see that it's streaming on Prime now too. So I am going to go watch it.
And I want to say something. Thank you for saying that because it is on Prime, but you brought me back to something that I wanted to mention. So apparently, what's been happening is these movies are going to the theater and they're not making the money that they need to make in the theater, so they're going direct to streaming. And some of the films are in both, like they're in the theaters and they're on streaming. But what they're trying to do, I guess, is make their money in the box office first to see what they can get. And if they can't get anything, then they'll go to streaming. But if you pay attention, a lot of movies are coming to streaming a lot faster.
Yeah.
And the only movies that aren't are the ones that are visually dynamic for the screen. I've been saying it all along. If you want me to come to the theater, you have to make it worth my while. I've been saying that. And only the movies that are dynamic optically are the ones that are sustaining in the theaters. Just saying. So the next thing that I watched was a new mini series on Peacock called The Continental. The Continental is from the world of John Wick. It's not a John Wick story, but it has elements of John Wick. It's basically about the hotel that exists in the movie. It stars Ray McKinnon, Ben Robson. You know him from Animal Kingdom. He was one of the brothers. Mel Gibson, and the late, great Lance Reddick. Hands down, octane on fire. I really enjoyed The Continental because it is like, it does give you John Wick theme. It gives you that same energy, but it's telling a different story. And you kind of know John Wick. You kind of know what you're going to see. You kind of know what you're going to get. You kind of know where it's going to go. This is an original story, and you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know how it's going to play out. And it's just octane on fire. Like I said, the gunplay is magnificent. The fight scenes are magnificent. The car chases are magnificent. The scenes are magnificent. Everything about this keeps me on the edge, and it makes me want to see more. They put them out every Friday. I think it's going to only be 3 installments. One is out now, so we have 2 more to go. I do believe that if this is successful, they'll probably tell more stories of the same nature, but they'll
Mhm.
probably do it a little differently. But definitely check it out. It's on Peacock.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited because it hasn't been too many things that I really enjoy watching anymore, and so now I'm getting excited again about watching stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the latest morning show episode?
The latest what?
Morning show? The morning show?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Listen,
Get
that bunch of
'em.
snakes and
Ah, yeah.
slithery, slimy. It's a lot going on.
Listen, I was at the gym on Friday because it comes on Thursdays. I used to watch it on Friday though, and so I was at the gym and I think I was on the bike, and I was going through TikTok, and they showed the clip of the
Hmm.
interview. I was there, the interview, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh, I can't wait to get home. It is so good. It is so
It
good.
is.
But Big Brother still killing it. I mean,
Hmm.
I didn't think it came on last night because on Sunday nights it comes on a lot later because of Sunday Night Football. But it was really
Mhm.
good. I watched it today. But I would start watching this series yesterday called Painkiller, and it's with Uza Aduba and Matthew Broderick, and it's about the OxyContin, that
Yeah,
family.
Sackler brother, the Sackler family. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean it was one of those things I had to turn it off so I go to bed because I'd be up all night. It was really I watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes, but it's really good. It shows the lens from different. It shows the family, obviously,
Hmm.
the family who created the drug, but also shows the pharmaceutical sales reps who are selling the drug, and then it shows Uza's character who is researching and just going after the family, saying this drug is killing people. This
Mm.
opioid is killing communities, and I know if it's happening here, it has to happen all over the world, or at least the country. And so it's just showing different sides, and it also shows the family. It's a father. He has his wife and his stepson, and he hurts his back and he gets put on him and shows their how they interact, how the drug, how it impacts their family. It's so good though. It's so good. So check that out. But yeah, no,
Have
that's
you
I had to
have you seen? Did you see Dope Sick from a few years ago?
I don't think so.
Oh, you'll like that. It's the same. It's about the Sackler family. It was done basically. It was like the first one of those kind of types of films about the families. But Michael Keaton is in it. He stars as a
Oh,
doctor
I
that.
did see that. I did see that because he's the doctor that got caught on the drug, right?
Yep, yep. So
Yeah, I
I
did
know
see
the
that.
painkiller's kind of along the same line. So I was just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. It's fascinating and just how it can. I'll just give one spoiler alert. So the gentleman, the father who has the wife and the stepson, he gets addicted to him, and he acts out one day because he's hiding it from the family. But his stepson notices his stepson is stealing himself, giving them to his friends and things like that. And
Mm.
then he notices one day the dad goes berserk because he can't find them. Like he's moving the stove out the way to see if one drop behind, all this kind of stuff. And so he kind of confronts the mom and like, you see what he's doing. Why are you acting like you don't see this? And turns to this big thing. But one day they go to the doctor, try to get everything kind of regimented. And then he comes home, he flushes him down the toilet and he says, we're done with this. But that's not how addiction works.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it just shows really how it took a man who, was supporting his family and how now he's trying to hide this addiction. So he's going to taking it as directed to popping like his Skittles. You know what I mean? It's just so sad. But and then you saw the people overdosing in the like they would literally get it from the pharmacy, get in the car and overdose in the car. It was just
Hmm.
sad. But also you see it from the pharmaceutical sales rep. We're making money. They're junkies. We can't help if they're junkies. They're gonna abuse any drug. It's just that oof.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's
makes you really question like when your doctor wants to put you on something, is this good for me or not? You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah. Or all the ads you see on TV about all the random drugs, and you're like, okay, what
yeah.
is this about?
Well, years ago we had someone on the show, and he had dedicated his life to finding a cure for cancer because he lost so many family members to cancer in a short amount of time. And you know, he had worked with a lot of holistic doctors because they were saying that one of the things that doctors don't learn much about in school is about diet. They're pushed on pharma.
Mhm.
And one doctor said, there's no study that shows, but taking more than 5 different pills, how can it clash and affect your body? And so when I see people on all these medications, it's kind of like, but yeah. Anyway.
And let's keep in mind, every medication has a side effect.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but that was definitely, so check that out. Painkiller on Netflix. Anything coming out of the pipeline?
Nothing major. So I think the big one this weekend is Dumb Money. I don't know if y'all have seen the trailers, but this is the one based on the people who invested in GameStop during that like early in the pandemic, and it was like in all the news, and people were all talking about like the hedge fund was trying to short it and go down, and all these people invested in it, and so it's kind of their story of how they kind of made all this money off of like this video game retailer. So that one looked interesting. Honestly, it's probably like it seems interesting enough for a streaming movie. I don't know if it seemed good enough to go into the theater for, but yeah, that's on my list. And then of course The Covenant. Now that I've heard how good it is, I'm gonna definitely check that one out.
Yeah. I saw a preview or a trailer for something today that I'm interested in. It's called Cassandro. It's about a wrestler who is getting into the Mexican wrestling world, but he's LGBTQIA plus, and that seems to be pretty interesting because just the subject matter and what they were talking about and how they were trying to ostracize him out of the wrestling community, but eventually he becomes this big wrestling star. So I think it should have high drama, but I'm gonna have to read subtitles, so that's cool. They tend to be the better movies.
Yep.
They do, but all that reading, we had a headache.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for letting us know to spend our time, money on what not to. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next Monday.
All right, thanks.
We'll be right back after.